Alright guys, in case you didn't know, I haven't been posting a lot on my channel, so I'm going to start a makeup channel. You gotta have just a little bit of humanity, but not fully. Definitely not using, this is like a blush brush. And I'm not using blush, I'm using eye color. There we go. What's this called? Eyeshadow. This color is called Gnarly. Oh, sick. There we go. Okay. Oh, nice. I look kind of dead. This comes off because I gotta work in the morning. Why is the blue not actually? How does this work? Drag queens, beehive hairdos. All right. Anyway, this is probably about the time my family will walk in and question my sanity, but also question why are you staying up late to do this? Surely this will come right off.
To most people in the world, it's Halloween. Or it's probably after Halloween because I probably didn't upload this on Halloween. Last year I uploaded a Halloween video in January, so this year I'm at least aiming to upload this video in November. And like any other Halloweeny enthusiast, you're probably watching old Halloween movies or some of your old favorite movies. Most of the time people are going to watch Hocus Pocus, they're going to watch Halloween Town, they're going to watch Halloween Town 2. They're gonna pretend they liked Hocus Pocus 2. They're gonna watch Halloween Town 3. Is that one Calavar's Revenge or is it the second one? They're not gonna watch Halloween Town High though, because I think that was like an offshoot. Most people are gonna watch their favorite Halloween movies from when they were a kid. And this year when I was thinking about what kind of video to make, I thought, last year with the Tales from the Crypt. It was kind of a Halloween special and a bad Halloween episode all in one. Then as I was scrolling through YouTube's free movies, I came upon The Little Vampire. I remember this movie and for some reason thought it was a Disney Channel original movie, but it totally wasn't. It was like a legit movie on its own that like came out in theaters. But maybe I always watched it on I don't think I would have watched it on Disney. So I decided to sit down and rewatch it and see if it still held up. My immediate thoughts was, I bet it doesn't. I mean, nothing are gonna hold up the same as it was when you were a kid. Not Halloween Town though. Halloween Town freaking slaps still. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to give it the benefit. I'm going to believe that The Little Vampire is going to stand the test of time. So I sat down, grabbed some corn, and watched it, okay? So let me take you back to the year 2000. The Y2K panic had just fizzled, and Jonathan Lipnicki was America's sweetheart. Was he? I don't know. I kind of just made that up. Did anybody even like Jonathan Lipnicki? Do you even know who Jonathan Lipnicki is? Well, he's the star of this movie. He's a little boy. But did he do anything else? I said that because it just sounded good, but you know what? Oh yeah, he was in Like Mike and Stuart Little and Jerry Maguire and Stuart Little 2 and Stuart Little 3. Stuart gets littler. But this is the story of Tony Thompson, a lonely American kid who moves to Scotland, starts having nightmares about vampires, gets bullied by a pair of kids who look like they were designed by a focus group, then befriends a literal vampire, a child named Rudolph. So together they try to find a magical amulet, defeat a vampire hunter. But here's the thing, beneath all of like the campy, the tonal chaos, and some questionable CGI, I mean vampire cow, this movie is surprisingly well structured. So today I'm going to argue that The Little Vampire, while objectively ridiculous, still holds up. Still a good movie. It's heartfelt, weird in all the right ways, but somehow it works. So we're diving into vampire lore contradictions, cow logic, and why the story of Tony and Randolph might deserve a little bit more love than it got. Because weird doesn't mean it was worthless. I mean, look at me. I'm weird and totally not worthless.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
So if you watched The Little Vampire as a kid, chances are you either remember it fondly or you don't remember it all, like I didn't. Honestly, would have forgotten all about it had it not shown up on YouTube's free movies. And for a certain generation, The Little Vampire was peak cozy, spooky content. It had castles, had bats, had fog, it had vampires that don't actually kill anyone. They just bite cows and the cows fly. And in one part, Rudolph says that he doesn't want to like bite humans, he wants to become one. I didn't know that was what vampires wanted to do. But in this movie, vampires want to become human. They don't want to bite them or kill them or hurt them in any way. You know, there are moments of genuine emotion and then like there's a weird like slide whistle or someone like slips on garlic and then we cut to a cow with fangs. It's chaotic and fun. For example, the dad just absolutely hates the kid. Like,
Hun? What? Have another nightmare?
The vampires were back. Oh, this is ridiculous.
He's having a bad dream. He comes in there and the dad is like, oh no, not again. You'd be a little nice to him. You just moved to a completely different country where everybody speaks weird.
Everybody talks weird here.
And your son is having bad dreams and you're just like upset that he even woke you up. And at one point the dad is like,
If I don't get some sleep, then I'll be one of the undead.
okay, the kid is cuddling with his mom. I guarantee that dad has not lost a bit of sleep. I'm going to say, as a dad with 2 kids, I will just bet you that the dad is sleeping a lot more than the mom, and the dad really doesn't have anything to complain about. I forgot to put a pumpkin up here for decoration. It's freaking Halloween, and I don't even got a freaking pumpkin. There we go. Hell yeah. You know, like, as kids, maybe we didn't him and just absolutely hated him, but I don't know, I feel like if I was a kid and was watching that, I would just think that all of my dreams and nightmares like I am now. But anyway, but now as an adult, you watch it, you kind of understand how it's trying really hard to stitch together like funny and scary and silly like all together, and it's just trying to keep a kid's attention. Like, I get it, there's just a lot of things going on. It's just trying so hard to be spooky, wholesome, and cool all at once, and becomes this weird Frankenstein's monster of a kid's movie. And if you grew up with it, that kind of chaos is on point. Obviously, you're not watching it for logic. You're watching it to see a vampire in sunglasses fly over Scotland. Like, that's pretty cool. And also the cow. So the movie Hocus Pocus, like, Binks wanted to be like laid to rest so his soul could rest. Maybe that's what they want. They want to become human so that they can die, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so anyway, they got the magic amulet. They're trying to become human again. But then vampire hunters crash the ritual. Chaos erupts and the amulet goes flying off a cliff. And then the tension builds. Bam! Tony wakes up. So it was all a dream. Or was it? Classic early 2000s move. Now meet Tony Thompson. He's the new kid in Scotland, and apparently every person in the village wants him dead because he had a bad dream. The teacher absolutely hates him. His parents hate him. The kids hate him. Everybody hates him because he has bad dreams about vampires.
I'm talking about Tony's obsession with vampires.
What?
Told you about the dad's butthole. He's a butthole. But at school, Tony is immediately bullied by kids who look like they've never seen conditioner in their entire lives.
For being a little creep.
Teacher rolls their eyes every time he mentions vampires. The whole town seems to treat a little kid who likes vampires a little too much as like a punishable offense for some reason. Little boy draws bats around Halloween and suddenly he's one garlic necklace away from being institutionalized. I mean, just let the kid enjoy Halloween, or maybe find out why he's having freaking crazy dreams about vampires and bats and stuff. Maybe there's something there, I don't know. But eventually Tony meets Rudolph, who's a real vampire who looks like he's 12 but talks like he's seen wars, and he has like a weird accent just like everybody else. He has a British accent for some reason. I don't know why. Not like a Transylvanian accent or like a Romanian accent. He's just got like a British accent. Been there in Scotland. Who knows where Rudolph came from? Maybe he was a British vampire. British vampires. But anyway, they bond immediately because they're both loners. One's undead, the other one's unpopular and wishes he was dead. Together they make a surprisingly wholesome duo. Then comes the cow. What's suspicious is I thought the cow was sucked to death, but later it's afraid of the sun. And the farmer is just like kind of curious as to why his cow does that. So apparently if a vampire sucks the blood of a cow, they turn into a flying vampire cow bat. I don't know if that's how it works with humans. I thought if you got bit by a vampire, you became a vampire, but if they sucked your blood, then you died because you didn't have any blood. I don't know. I didn't watch Twilight, okay? So now let's talk about the villain, Rookery. It's kind of like Doc Brown, if Doc Brown was like your conspiracy theorist uncle and he wanted to like hunt vampires. Watching this as a kid, I thought this was Kramer for some reason, and even watching it just now, I thought this guy was Kramer, but it's actually totally not. They don't look anything alike, but just for a split second. The movie does a good job of setting up Tony and Rudolph's friendship. It's heartfelt, it's oddly grounded. They help each other feel seen in a world where everybody is either actively ignoring them or actively trying to kill them, or both. So now that Tony and Rudolph are officially besties, it's Facebook official. They are MySpace top
8 or whatever, things escalate quickly from let's be friends to let's fly together under the moonlight while discussing existential dread. We've all been there. You just usually need a pack of cigarettes to go along with it. They're not old enough to smoke. It is a kid's movie, okay? As Tony spends more time with Rudolph, we get more vampire lore, kind of. Again, I didn't watch Twilight, so I don't know if all this is real, but there's a comment. Family starts showing up, including his sister Anna, who is 300 years old, looks 13, and like her and Tony are like digging each other, but soon she'll be a real human and she'll die, I think. I don't know. But as weird as it sounds, there is a romantic subplot for this 9-year-old boy and a centuries-old vampire. It's like Twilight if Bella was in elementary school and Edward had wings. I think. I don't know. I've never seen Twilight. Then comes the scene where Rudolph hides in Tony's bedroom while his parents almost catch them, like hanging out. And then the tension is real. Not because of the vampire part, but it feels like they're sneaking a forbidden. We also get a wild chase scene with the vampire hunters where Tony and Rudolph can outrun a literal plane by flying through the countryside. Yeah, so I don't know what is the what are the you're gonna have to let me know in the comments. What are the vampire flying rules? Like how fast can they fly? I didn't know vampires could. I guess I knew vampires could fly. Do they fly in Hotel Transylvania? I don't know. I can't really remember. I thought Edward drove like an old truck or something in Twilight. I don't know. But speaking of flying, the vampire cow returns. He kind of like fed him to the vampire is for food. Let him get eaten by a vampire. But he's yeah, he wants to die. He wants to grow old and die. He wants to get old and yell at kids to get off his lawn. That's what he wants. But they moved into a castle in Scotland. This was important. I should have mentioned this earlier. So they moved from California to Scotland into a castle, and their son has been having nonstop dreams about vampires and believes that they're real and won't stop talking about them. And you don't think anything is wrong with this? Like, you as parents are not going to say, maybe there's something to this. Maybe there is really something to this vampire thing. I don't believe in vampire. Well, I mean, vampires are not real. But even if I didn't believe in vampires and we moved to a freaking castle and my son is having all these dreams, I might start believing in vampires. But anyway, Rookery breaks into the family's house, their castle.
Do not come.
I'm coming.
What? He even tries to kidnap Tony, like full on throws him in the truck and drives off, just like Rescuers Down Under. Kidnapping. What's up with crazy vampire hunters and poachers kidnapping kids? But even after all that, the family doesn't call the police because, I don't know. When you live in a castle in Scotland, like, that's just normal stuff. But eventually Tony and Rudolph team up. With their vampire family to prepare for the big Comet Night ritual. They need to use the amulet to become human again. But Rookery plans to destroy everything. There's tension, explosion, there's fake deaths and heroic sacrifices. Hold on, I just realized something. If they're biting livestock and the livestock are turning to vampire bats, vampire bat cows, do they also live forever? So they're just like putting this curse on these vampire cows to live forever. Well, I guess if they're going to be slaughtered, what happens then? What happens to their souls? Cows ain't got no souls? I don't know. I didn't watch Twilight. But anyway, that's sort of the magic of the little vampire. It, like, makes sense, kind of. Like, it's really weird how the dad moves to Scotland for, like, a construction job, but they move to a castle. I don't know, castles. I know there's castles in Scotland, but, like, why?
sound cool. I don't know where. I just never saw it. I'm sure it's great. Where is Twilight set? Forks, Washington. Oh, that's not... Well, it still starts with a W. I forgot what I was talking about. The storytelling strengths of the little vampire. So we've established that the little vampire is kind of a mess. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's chaotic. It's bizarrely edited. It's kind of unhinged. It's got adults that hate kids. I mean, honestly, it's a pretty awesome movie. But here's the thing. Underneath the flying cows and like the weird slide whistles and cartoon effects, the movie has some actually real narrative structure. That's my argument. I think it has real narrative. And constantly gaslit by the adults around him, especially his dad who hates him. Just like my life, I felt all these things, especially the dad hating me part. But then he meets Rudolph, who's literally undead. He's trapped in a child's body, and he's just lonely. Their friendship isn't just cute, it's thematically aligned, okay? It's two outcasts from different worlds and centuries, connecting over shared feeling of, I don't know, just being a loner and not really having anybody else in life. And all of that is like what makes the movie work despite itself. And I'm not saying that all bad movies that have good plots still work. I mean, I think there's arguments to be made about Adam Sandler movies having a lot of the same feelings. The underdog who you know, finds his way in the world and finds connection. But not all those movies are necessarily great. Although, just to be honest, I'm a pretty big Adam Sandler stan. So, you know. But you've got the feeling of alienation. You've got the feeling of belonging. You've got a clear antagonist with stakes. No matter how campy it is. Even the ridiculous cow subplot works symbolically. Oh, does it work symbolically? I don't know. I've never seen Twilight. But Tony is willing to protect even the weirdest, most understood creature because he gets it. That's good, clean fun right there. The screenwriting is campy, and we love that. But is it lazy? Not at all. Not at all lazy. Great writing. And there's an emotional thread through the whole thing that has kept us watching it and loving it and coming back to it. Flow even when the tone is kind of a little weird. So every choice, whether it's like Tony confronting his fear, Rudolph choosing to trust a human, or the family risking everything, weirdness and his obsession with vampires and finding out the truth that actually saves the day. That's the kind of story that hits especially hard for any kid that sort of grew who you are and follow your dreams and do something you believe in and put everything into it despite what everybody else says. It'll all work out. You'll be successful. You'll accomplish your goals, your dreams. Tony and Rudolph are the emotional anchor. Their friendship feels real, even when everything around them is sort of crumbling and absurd and scary. Thank you guys so much for coming back. I hope you have a happy Halloween. You're probably watching this at Thanksgiving at this point, but I just want to thank you for taking the time to watch it. For some reason, my Halloween videos do really well. And actually, I've got 3 other videos that are already filmed that I'm just in the middle of editing that I'm really excited to put out. So stay tuned. If you're watching me for the first time, like, subscribe, share this with a friend, and turn notifications on so that you can see the next video when it comes out. Thank you guys so much and have a happy Halloween.